Welcome back to a new video. I'm actually going to take a second take on my introduction just because the first one was a little chalked. I was a little too emotional, shed some manly tears. But as you guys saw, I just did some warm-ups on the resistance bands that Josh has against the wall. These things are super clutch. I think it has like 5 or 6 varying degrees of resistance. I did the red ones. It's like a little medium one. I think it's like the 3rd level. So just kind of got some blood flow and muscle activation in the muscles that I'm going to be using for bench. I'm going to stretch my lower body as well. And we're just going to get straight into it. So the pre for today is going to be the Blue Raz Bulk, the Black Series. Code MEGA if you guys are down to try some transparent labs. I will say, the pre-workouts have not been like, I've only tried one so far, the Blue Raz. I have another one coming in, but so far it's honestly been like a 7 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10 flavor-wise. But in terms of performance in the gym, like caffeine, the GPC for like your neuro drive, it's been a pretty good pre without being like overly dosed on the like caffeine side of things. Like it's not like you don't get super jittery and you don't really crash after. Like it's a very nice based solid pre. So if you guys are looking for a new pre-workout to try Transparent Labs, code MEGA. I haven't done it yet, but I need to add my athlete link into my link tree. So that way you guys have access to that too via that way. But I left my phone at the bench station, so I think I have another 7-8 single today and another few 7-8 RP 7-8 volume sets. So last Tuesday, which would be Friday's video, I just uploaded it a while ago. I did 562 for a single. I did 484 for 2 sets of 4 and 431 for 1 set of 3.5. So depending on what I have today, I would like to hit realistically around the same level of strength. Worst case scenario, maybe 5-10 keys less. Best case scenario, we'll go 10 keys up. So that'll be like 584 single, as well as maybe like 530 again for like a revenge set. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this intro, and we just gotta get this weight pumping, baby. We gotta start moving some weight. So you guys saw it there, 575, 261 kilos for today's top single. This is in fact the heaviest bench press to my knowledge that I have loaded and successfully lifted since Sheffield. So I'm very happy about that. I felt the fatigue from Tuesday. I felt way stronger on Tuesday, but today I really wanted to make sure that it was just a hell of a lot more technically sound. Like holding it at the top, the pause was clean. Like when reps tell you to press, it's very trivial and subjective due to the fact that they're going to tell you to press when they think the bar is motionless, right? And I think as a lifter, I know when the bar is motionless. Right now, a lot of people can, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it felt heavy. I had an RPA today. I think that's about as heavy as I could probably go today without overspilling. So now I'm gonna take a little bit of a rest period. I'm gonna go ahead and drink some Gatorade, carb up a little bit, and then I'm gonna start attacking these triples. Honestly, just based off how that single felt and understanding how like fatigue starts to creep up as you go through your workout, maybe 518 for 3 today would be like the absolute top end. If I'm feeling good, maybe 540. I think my PR is like 540. No, for 3, my PR is I think 553. I think that's my PR for 3. I don't think I'm gonna hit a triple PR today, just based off how 575 felt. Maybe if I had the strength for 600 today, if I had the strength for 600, then I think 550 for 3 is justifiable, but not today. I think 518. Maybe if I somehow manage to like curb up into a top set, then maybe, but the way I'm feeling right now and just being objective about it, like 507 and 518 is kind of the mark that I'm looking for. So I mean, we'll see. I think first set I might maybe do 501, 507 for my first set and then go straight to top after that. Alright guys, so that was 509 for 3 to offset. I ain't got more after that. So I'm gonna drop it down to 474 maybe. And then after that, just kind of try to not drop after that. I think that's a smart move. So I'm not gonna lie, that set was pretty hard. It was a lot harder than the single. But like I said, guys, when you compete at this level and like you're at the international stage, the smallest things are the most important. Like, because there's a lot of strong guys on the world stage, but not all of them are like good lifters. And what I mean by that is they're not very technically sound. They're not as consistent in training as others. Being a great lifter doesn't just mean you're strong. It means you're technically sound. It means you follow the rules and you excel under those conditions. So that's really all I've been trying to do with bench. It's like I'm not really concerned with PRing or hitting like a super fat single. It's just more so just continuing to work on engraving those rules and conditions into my, and just be making them second nature. So I'm gonna drop these, do some drop sets, and then we'll move on to accessories.
Jury in a safe on arrival, pistol on J for survival. A lot of people gunning for the title, a lot of people trying to take us viral. I was trying to have a nice night, though. Wait, brought a check for the meal. She said, babe, I think it was a typo. Nah, girl, I got it, that's like, though. I can show you bigger things than that. It's gonna be a minute till I'm back. Let me get it. You know the ropes and the protocol. All they going for show blood, and the niggas still ain't on the fold.
misread 496 for 3 because I locked in on that set, but I wasn't able to lock in the same for that set just there. And another thing that happened is I just kind of started running out of juice. So I mean, if you watch that rep, you can see where the bar path straightened out. I lost that J curve. I lost the how do I call it? Because whenever you're benching, if you watch all great bench pressers, you can tell and you can see a J curve, right? So even if it's less distinguished in some people or in others, you can just see it's a natural mechanism of the way like your joints work, right? But I racked it after 1 rep because I knew 2 more were not in the tank. No, sir. Maybe if somebody had a gun pointed at my head, but that's not the case. Either way, it's a good day. I already got 3 good sets in. I did 509 for 3. I did 474 for 3, and then 496 for 3. So 3 good sets, and then obviously a little dingy bonus at the end. But I'm gonna go ahead and rack the weight. I'm gonna go see what I have for accessories, and then go ahead and finish this workout, man, because we got it. Alright guys, so I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys like using lateral raises, but I guess we can talk about it real quick. So lateral raises are essentially, I feel like I'm kind of torn between which one I prefer more. Either there's like standing arsenal machine where it's like completely stationary, complete isolation of the lateral delt, right? Or like the free weight dumbbell variation, right? I don't know which one I prefer more. I feel like the dumbbell variation kind of works a little bit more of your body because you actually have to balance the dumbbells so you're engaging your core a little more and whatnot, and it gives you just a greater degree of variability, right? You can kind of you can lean a lot more forward, right, and kind of almost get some of that rear delt as well. You can do that on this one as well, but I just don't feel like it's as good of a stretch, right? But I mean, either way, your delts in terms of powerlifting are very important because it is one of the primary joints that and muscles that you're going to use when you bench press. So the bigger and stronger your delt is, the more durable you're going to be when it comes to like being able to endure through high intensity benching. I just feel like the more secure you're going to be able to hold the bar over your head, right? You use a lot of front delt when it comes to bench press, and then I don't know. I mean, like what else can you want? Like stability, your foundation. It's a solid exercise to keep in your rotation multiple times a week, at least 2 times a week, hitting shoulders and delts. Chef's kiss. And then another accessory that I'm sure you guys have been seeing me hit a lot as of late is this pec fly machine, because my shoulders and pecs take such a beating from squats. It is imperative that I do these because this exercise like directly kind of like mediates some of that discomfort. And I mean, I don't know if it's through like simply recruiting blood flow into that specific area, like that acute area that gets affected, or like because another way of rehab is like instead of it's not always, the solution isn't always hitting the muscle that's hurt. Sometimes it's like strengthening the muscles around it so that through compensation and balancing of your body, right? Because when you're hurt, you're naturally going to want to like shift and compensate in the opposite way, right? Because your body like tends to naturally like avoid the pain. So sometimes if you can hit the muscles around the area that's hurt, it kind of provides like a little boost, right? And through strengthening the functioning muscles around the hurt muscle, it can kind of help bring it along, and then over time it'll just naturally heal. I'm gonna try to do like a set of 10 or 12. I already lost count, but I'm gonna say this is 5 right here. 5. And you want to make sure that whenever you're going through the motion, that you keep your elbows parallel to each other, and that's how you kind of make sure that you're not really like messing up the range of motion, or like one side is different than the other. That works for me because sometimes your shoulder feels off, but something that I'll never lie is your elbow position. So if this elbow's high, you get the opposite elbow high, and you get a fairly even rep. Here is a chest supported low row, right? So pretty much every machine you'll ever encounter is self-explanatory if it's labeled like this, right? Because when you kind of boggle your mind, you're like, okay, like what the hell is a chest supported low row, right? Because traditionally and most commonly that you'll see throughout is like regular chest supported rows, right? Which would be something like this, right? Like this right here is a chest supported row, right? Seated chest supported row, but I guess all of these would be. Some of them apparently aren't chest seated. Like a good example is like a chest supported seal row. Gosh, I love that song. Make yourself some friends, you've been lonely. Much more than 7 years old. It was a big world, we were going bigger. Yeah, this one really hits like that low part of the lat, as well as your delts. Pretty much with this machine, you're essentially working the muscles that you feel like you're working, man. The chest support allows you to isolate those back muscles, and if you can understand the concept of time under tension over time, I don't know how you say it, but if you can understand what I'm saying, then essentially what you're doing is you're not really like releasing the range. You're not releasing tension at the end of the rep. You stop right before the point where you naturally relax, and that's your end range. And then you pull all the way back as far as you can, and that's point B. You want to try to, so think of it this way, it's a 2-point range. You want to keep point A just a tad below that point of relaxing, and then you want to pull back as full as your stretch allows, and that right there is the sweet spot where you create a constant pull of tension throughout the entire rep. And if you can do that, then you can do some lightweight and get a great pump, get a great body of working without having to like load excessive amounts of weight. And I think this is super important for power lifters in particular, because you're already doing exercises at a high intensity rate. Why would you want to train the same in your accessories when your program and your split is supposed to be in perfect synchronization? It's supposed to balance each other, right? If you're going hard on SBD, you can go hard on accessories, but do it smart. Do it smart, do it right, do it long. So, I mean, this is just kind of how I've always done things. It's just always been what's felt good to me and what's felt like the right thing to do. And I've had a lot of success. A lot of people might not have as much success doing it how I do. Like, some people have to push just as hard on their accessories as they do their compounds. But you just gotta keep in mind, your body can only handle so much load per session, per week, per block, per anything. So as long as you keep that in mind, like, you understand how hard you can push on one thing and how hard you should push on something else. We're making our way towards our last accessory, which is gonna be some tricep extensions. Tricep extensions are one of the most simplest, most commonly widely used exercises of all time, because it is as basic as meat and potatoes, because you're essentially isolating the tricep. You're just feeding more stimulus into your tricep, right? Which, if you think about it, I did heavy benching, so I'm already pre-fatigued coming into this tricep extension, right? So whenever you couple that with an additional few sets of tricep extension, like, just think of the work that you're putting your triceps through, right? And if you want to get that horseshoe, I don't know if you guys can see it from here, right? Essentially, if you want to get strong, you get strong doing SBD. But if you want to look like you lift, it's done on the other side of the gym. You can't ignore them. The best programs, the best bodybuilders, the best powerlifters, the best of any kind of athlete, they don't neglect the other aspect of lifting weights, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and knock this set out, and then, you know, maybe do a few, some posing. I'm also recording vertical for a reel that I want to post either on the weekend or maybe even today. I'm not sure. And we'll just see how today goes, man. It's been going pretty good. But goddamn, Pablo must have been doubling down on this entire stack. But essentially, to get like pretty crispy tricep extension form, you want to try to keep your elbows in a stationary position. And for me, that's kind of like as close to my rib cage as my body can allow. And I use that as the point at which everything else kind of operates around. And I really focus on getting that full range of motion. Because when it comes to isolating muscles and accessories like this, you want to limit the amount of body English. You want to limit the amount of body English, aka like using your body to create momentum to initiate the motion of the range. And you just really want to rely entirely on the muscle that you're trying to use. So right there, I think that was a pretty good set. I was pretty stationary. My elbows were pretty nice and tight along my body, like this. And that was all tricep, all tricep. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish these last 2 sets, and then we'll do a little bit of posing. Just to kind of wrap up this video, today was a pretty, from top to bottom, a well executed training day. Bench was good. Started warming up with 2 reds, went 3 reds, 4 reds. I took 540 as the last warm up, and then the 5th set was my top set, right? And I think a lot of that had to do with those warm ups that I did at the beginning of the video. Those kind of like really got me going. I think I'm going to implement those moving forward. If I'm not mistaken, I used to do something similar long ago at the beginning of my like training journey, but I honestly don't remember anymore. It's been such a long time. But I mean, I guess like we can do a bit of a physique check, just because I feel like right now, even though I'm in a surplus, I feel like this is right now is like the best I've looked, because my carbs are a little high, my body weight is kind of staying around the same body weight. My lowest, the lowest that I've gone to was 393.1. So that is officially 18 pounds lost this cut. And now I'm kind of gravitating around 395 to 397, but that's with like inconsistent bowel movements. Like today, honestly, has probably been like the best bowel activity day that I've had in a while. So, and I took fiber last night, so I'm pretty sure that's why. I'm gonna put you guys on. If you guys are having like bowel movement issues or digestive issues, like try Metamucil. That stuff, it'll clean you out. Take like 3 or 4 spoonfuls before bed, like 30 minutes before bed, and I promise you, you're gonna wake up ready to go, and then you're gonna be feeling nice and ready to conquer the day. But all right, let's get into this physique check. Man, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I look pretty jacked right now. But a large portion of this does have to do with, like, I did get a little burnt on my birthday. We went to the pool and I darkened a significant amount within a few hours. Yeah, I know I'm still a little tubby, but as far as that goes, I'm trying my hardest not to be, what's the word, insecure about the weight fluctuation. Because trust me, even though you guys, it's kind of torn. Some of you guys think I look good for my body weight and muscle mass, and a lot of other people, a bunch of haters, they're gonna tear me down and be like, oh, you're 50% body fat, blah, 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 blah. Right? And I don't really care about that too much, because I mean, I've been doing this long enough to understand how it goes usually. But I mean, I can feel the differences and I can see them more so than before. Like a lot of my SBD shirts, those shirts used to fit me very uncomfortably because I was just a little bit more swollen in the midsection. But losing 15 pounds is pretty significant. Like that's 4%. I'm down 4% body weight than I was from my heaviest, while kind of relatively maintaining strength, right? Obviously, squats haven't really been a direct reflection, but we can attribute that to like just being inconsistent with my squats. Like I got hurt, I had an abdominal issue, I got sick for 2 weeks, I was, you know, up and about, and then I hurt my hamstring 5 weeks out before Worlds. So just been a whole lot of stuff to kind of deal with this prep, but I just feel like getting hurt, locking in, and then just working with Cam and like getting my nutrition in order, like it's just been such a big learning experience for me, because I eat smart, but it's never been to the degree of like measuring my food, calculating like calories, carbs, macros specifically. I literally would just watch like, okay, don't eat too much fast food, try to eat high protein. Like those were my 2 protocols. But ever since I've been working with Cameron, like I've been keeping track of my carb intake, my protein intake, the time between meals. And I feel like even though we'll say we've only seen like 4% difference, I feel like that 4% is still pretty drastic, because that was within, like, I think we've been working with Cam now for like almost a month and a half. So, dang guys, my battery died. This is the first time I've ever had to actually switch batteries in a session, but I'm sure glad that I have some extras. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of my cue to go ahead and wrap up this conclusion, this outro. Glory be to God, because we had a bit of a scare there, you know, like even now, I'm not the type of person to say that things are like locked, like, oh man, like my 4th championship is already in the bag. No, like I still gotta travel, I gotta get my food situated, I gotta stay disciplined with all those things, and then I still gotta go out there and compete, right? I still got, I think, like a week and a half of training left. I got a long ass flight to Eastern Europe, and a whole bunch of other BS to deal with, right? But I mean, I'm up for the challenge. Like, this is what makes the competing fun. Like, this is what makes these kind of things like enjoyable. But regardless, nonetheless, that's enough yapping. If you guys need anything, equipment, supplements, apparel, footwear, mouthpieces, all that stuff is going to be in the description box. Every single item that I promote is something that I use regularly. I don't promote stuff I don't use to you guys. Trust me, like, I've had opportunities and offers, better deals and sponsorships than what I have, but it just doesn't work out, or I turn them down because I don't like the product and I just like what I'm using, right? But anyways, you guys take care. This will be episode 12 of the Road to Worlds, and I think vlog number 22, I believe, 21 or 22. I have my numbers mixed up just because I didn't really post my first video this week until my birthday, June 5th. So I'm behind schedule, but honestly, it's gonna work out because now I'm gonna be like 2 videos ahead, like moving forward. So you guys have a blessed day, a blessed week, regardless of whenever you watch these guys. Take care.